All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the Gamer's Diary of The Legend of Zelda and the Wind Waker. And we're obviously in Forsaken Fortress. You are able to climb out of the wreckage from the pirates' perfect plan. Yeah, no, they slid a rock into your pocket so they can communicate with you. Like, obviously, we don't have FaceTime in this universe. We have a glowing rock of communication. Legend of Zelda. Turns out it's not too much in the past. But I am going to be very honest with you guys. I got myself caught by the spotlights on purpose just because I didn't want to climb the stairs. Now, logistically speaking, I'm gonna be real. This doesn't really work for me because there should be guards at this jail cell. They were pretty arrogant not to guard it and not keep me locked in. I think they just kind of wanted me to escape. Plus, like, if someone were to escape, they'd probably figure it out. And then they would have, like, everybody on watch and looking for a walking around barrel. But I kind of realized just how easy the outlay to Forsaken Fortress is. Now, when I was a kid and I first played it, I was stuck on this for a matter of days. But as I guess you could say, you mature with age and you get wiser. And I guess I just took out all three of these spotlights. And so the thing is you have to sneak past the big dudes, the bokoblins, but these like moblins, I think that's what they are. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the little ones, right? You could just hit with a stick and make disappear. Like, you come up, you get a stick because you don't have your sword. By the way, your sword flies out your pocket. So that's why you have to sneak around. But these little guys operating the searchlights, like, you'd be taking a huge risk realistically, because I think, like, the fact that the lights went up towards the sky, I feel like everyone would be alerted. I think, honestly, this Forsaken Fortress just is not as well guarded as they think, and this is supposed to be the big bad guy Ganondorf that runs this place. Look, I know he wants you to come meet him and battle him in Mortal Kombat, but thinking about it, this is like the least guarded fortress he's ever had. I mean, yeah, no, Ganon's Tower in Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was way more guarded, and it makes more sense because he had more money to throw around, probably, or he just made the money system or the financial system. I don't really know Zelda economics or Zelda politics that much. I just know about the adventures in the games. But I've been bebopping around a little bit. But here's the thing. I chose the hardest route when it comes to sneaking past the big dudes with the lanterns. You could go the opposite direction, only have to worry about one of them realistically. But I chose to deal with two at once. Like, I think that they actually had like a built-in thing where you kind of choose your difficulty on this one, and I was just like, you know what, I went through the way I wasn't supposed to go. So what I'm gonna definitely do is definitely make it as hard on me as possible. Excuse me for yawning, it happens. But for real, I took a long time, and I realized, like, when these bokoblins like jump up and think that they get startled, it actually kind of scared me. One thing that was really good about this game is the sound cues for when you're about to get busted. That and the re-deads were probably the most effective noises in this game. I'm actually going to get to that when I go down the line because we're going to see those guys later. But right now, let's pay homage to the first thing that would make me jump out of my seat without me actually expecting to have a game. Like, when it comes to Wind Waker or like Legend of Zelda, when it comes to Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker was the only one that actually made me jump out of my seat or scare me stiff. I could go into a whole side tangent about how I don't like jump scares because I think they're kind of cheap, especially in the movie realm, right? Like, I actually prefer like the disturbing horror movies because you're gonna have to show me something disturbing to get under my skin. If you're just jump scaring someone every 5 seconds, you're doing it cheap. You know, that's so horror movie directors, I like the ones who, you know, actually try to make the horror movie scary. But after you make it past these two guys, and I took my time inching along because I didn't want to take a risk getting busted after all the hard work, so I took my time with this. But after that, I had like one more dude to sneak past, and then I had to sidle along a ledge. Now, I obviously pushed the box to make the checkpoint just because I don't want to risk falling. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to fall, but you're better safe than sorry. So I pushed the box down, and then I sidled across the thing. And then guess what? I got my sword back. Now, here's the thing I always ask. Just a side note. Would I still have had to sneak had I had this sword? Now, it doesn't matter. Would that sword be big enough to scare the bad guys away? I don't know. Maybe like Can you imagine if Link somehow? Actually, you know what? I take it back. I'm trying to be a little quippy right now. But thinking about it, he did fight those big dudes in the game with that sword. But I don't know. You never know how they actually coded the game because real life logic versus game logic. I'm teeter tottering right now on this one. But then you have to fight what I call a medium boss because this guy is just kind of different color than the other small dudes, and he's actually got a more dangerous weaponry. But I made very quick work of him, and this is the greatest irony. You get to where they're holding your sister, and Big Bird comes down the chimney and takes you, shows you Ganondorf to his face, and tosses you out of the fortress. I don't know. I thought it was actually really well, effectively done. This is actually, a pretty decent setup, despite the fact that I don't know how King of Red Lions was able to time, Link landing where he did and just come across him by odds. I think that is very unlikely, especially as vast of the ocean as they have. But you show them the chin of the bad guy, and then they show you the body of the good guy, and it's just a very mysterious transition. But you meet the King of Red Lions, who ends up becoming your companion through this. He's a ship that could talk. But you get a whole rundown. This is Ganondorf. He's the bad guy. He's here for a goal, and we're off to beat him to the punch. But I don't have a sail. I am a ship that does not have a sail, and you know what? That makes sense because an old wooden ship that could talk, going to an island to find a sail, like, one, you're never going to get off the waves, and two, you're a talking boat. Even if you were to somehow get to the trader, you don't have money, and you're going to freak a lot of people out. Like, I think that would honestly give me some nightmares because, I always had nightmares about two things when I was a kid, and that was statues coming to life and lions, right? And if you combine those two, I don't know why the Wind Waker was combining both of my fears. I guess they missed the mark though, because in those nightmares, the statues always wanted to tickle me, and the lions always wanted to eat the toes off of my feet. I don't know why it was so specific like that, but I guess I just didn't like being tickled as a kid. And I probably wouldn't like having my toes bitten off either. Now, I did break my toe on an elliptical when I was very young, and that was super painful. I'm glad I still have my toe. But enough of fears and stuff. Let's move on. So I did a little bit of looking around because I actually did forget where to get the sail. But then I realized it wasn't even on display. I had to go to this guy that looks like he's the dad of the ice climbers. But I had to gather like $80 and buy the sail. But then we were off to the first area we had to go. And that is Dragon Roast Isle. And I think we're going to leave episode 2 off right here. I know I kind of trauma dumped a little bit from my childhood because of the King of Red Lions. Ended up being a trigger for me and looking back into the past. But we have a good sail over to Dragon Roast Island, and then I think we're ready to collect the first pearl that we need to go through with the plans. But thank you very much for staying with me on this journey, and I'll see you on the next one.